everybody thinks because Tom Brady's not there, Bill Belichick is not going to find a way to win. I believe he will. I think he's the mastermind of that team and that organization, and I think he's going to still prove that he can win without Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. They'll steal some games. They'll be competitive, I think, and they'll win at home because they're good at home.
So I'm rooting for the Patriots this year.
I don't think they'll be any worse. I think that's 6-10 if that's what you're judging.
No, I think they're going to win. They're going to be 8-8 or 9-7. I think they're going to be a borderline playoff team. And to me, who's to know what Stidham's going to be? Stidham could be a star. We don't know what he is. We really never got a chance to watch him play.
I got him at 7 and 9. I don't know how they're going to. Listen, it's possible.
Their defense is really good still.
But they have literally the hardest schedule in the league.
To me. I'm not saying that the Patriots are going to have a great season. I just think it's very, very interesting. It's going to be an open season right now for the AFC because besides really Kansas City and the Ravens, there really is no sure thing coming out of the AFC. There really isn't. And to me, that's what makes this season more exciting than any season because I think we're going to see a lot of surprises in the AFC, and we're not going to see a lot of surprises in the NFC. I think we know the 5 or 6 teams or 7 teams that are going to be fighting for those spots, and that's it.
The NFC has some deep divisions, though, too. It's just a matter of, again, what will the records be? Because they also historically have a lot of parity. Outside of the North, I don't know if I could see 2 playoff teams from the North, but every other division I could definitely see 2 playoff teams. And from the West, who have a very easy schedule, I could definitely see 3.
Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, we all know what's going to happen in the teams that did well in the offseason are, pretty clear, I think, but, it remains to be seen what the Buccaneers can actually do, but they had a great offseason. So, for the and there's teams that surprise everybody every year. So, there's always one, right? There's always one surprise team. But, I think for the most part, the people think the South is between the Buccaneers and the Saints. And, the East is always so terrible, and they'll inflict a 8-8 playoff team upon the world because that's what the NFC East does every year.
Right.
I think we already kind of know what's going to go on.
I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see what is going to happen.
I don't see there being a huge surprise this year, do you?
What, in the AFC? Not in the NFC. In the AFC, yes. I think we're going to see a lot of surprises in the AFC because as much as everybody thinks that Buffalo Bills have the most talent, I still don't know if they're going to win the division. I could see Miami made a lot of acquisitions this offseason, and who's to say? I understand they're a young team and they're a building team, and they might be 2 years away. Miami could be a surprise team and win the AFC. The Jets could be, and also the Patriots could still win the division this year with that division. So anything could happen in that division.
The only team in the league this year that I see, kind of semi-surprising people, I think Arizona is really going to give people. If you go back to last year, Arizona lost 3 or 4 games, by 3 points or less in the last minute. They lost to San Francisco twice.
They hung tough with a lot of good teams, too. The Ravens, the Steelers, they hung tough with a lot of good teams last year as well.
Right. So they're not really thought of as a good team right now, but I think Arizona's gonna be the team that surprises people in the NFC. Wide open.
The NFC East is wide open too. As much as everybody thinks that the Eagles are the best team in that division because of the acquisitions that they made, bringing Slay in and giving them that shutdown corner that they've been really dreading for the last couple of years, really since the Super Bowl time when they went all the way to the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots.
But even none of those were shutdown corners. No. That's the best corner they had probably since they had Troy Vincent in the 80s or something like that.
Yeah, they also had, what's his name again, from the Oakland Raiders.
Asamoah, but he didn't play well there, though.
But he was still a top corner when he went there.
Sure.
Is the NFC East really wide open, though? Because I think that there are, I think there's a clear line between the top 2 and the bottom 2. The Giants and the Redskins being the bottom 2. I don't think that they're as close as Dallas or Philly, and listen, every year that team is an 8-8 playoff team up on. Someone in the NFC is going to get screwed at 11-5,
right?
Because they have to let the freaking Eagles in at 7-9 or something.
The only thing, and again, I'm not a Cowboys fan, and I don't think Mike McCarthy fits what the Cowboys are going to put out there, except the wide receivers now. But I still think their best player is Ezekiel Elliott. I really don't think he fits their offense. But I think the Cowboys could surprise a lot of people. I don't trust Dak Prescott. I really don't.
They're not going to surprise anybody. They've been screwing things up for years.
Yeah, but their draft was pretty good, as Cynthia was saying, and a lot of people have said even Jim Daigle that we interviewed yesterday, John Daigle. I'm sorry, John Daigle. He actually gave us good insight of them too, and he thought the Cowboys had a sensational draft as well. And Andy Dalton, as much as everybody says Andy Dalton is a terrible move by the Cowboys, he is the best backup.
For $3 million.
He is the best backup quarterback right now in the NFL. So if anything goes wrong or Dak decides, you know what, screw you guys, I'm not playing this year, well, then you have Andy Dalton. And to me, I think fits the offense better than Dak does.
Ginger Hercules, but not Andy Dalton. Ginger Hercules.
Ginger Hercules, yes. The Ginger Man, the Gingerbread Man. We'll call him the Gingerbread Man.
Here's the thing this year. Will Andy Dalton dye his hair blue for the Cowboys?
Well,
that would be interesting.
For the Beeve wouldn't like that.
He's had it
maybe a star in the back of his head.
For years now.
Maybe if he puts a star in the back of his head, or gets it in blue or something in the back of his head, I think then the Beeve will really root on Andy Dalton. But he can't stand Andy Dalton. He hates it. He told me today, I want to kill the Cowboys organization. He hates the draft. He hates the acquisitions. He thinks everything the Cowboys have done is completely a dud this year. So
he'll complain if Andy Dalton comes in for a game. Andy Dalton was targeting CeeDee Lamb too much.
I do believe he'll regret. I think Cowboy fans will regret adding Mike McCarthy taking over that offense, because they had one of the best offensive teams last year with a guy that every single Cowboy fan hated in Jason Garrett. And they bring in Mike McCarthy, who had two quarterbacks, Hall of Fame quarterbacks, as his quarterback, as a head coach, in Green Bay. He doesn't have that over there in Dallas. And I think he's going to have a lot of problems. He doesn't have an accurate thrower or a runner of that magnitude like Aaron Rodgers coming in and out of the pocket, or a gunslinger like Brett Favre throwing the ball down the field. So I think they're going to have a lot of problems. I think he's going to have a lot of problems with the offense that he's going to run, with their best player being a running back. So I'm telling you right now, I still think the Cowboys could be a lot better and a lot more efficient than people are saying they're going to be. But I don't like Mike McCarthy as the head coach of this team moving forward. I really don't.
Well, they'll be competitive like they usually are. The question is, again, with the South and the West, with those extra teams that could make the playoffs, and now with
he will be fired in 2 years.
Team, are the Cowboys going to be that team? Because the Cowboys, we've seen in the past, they've always a lot of times been the first team out a lot of the time too. Even if they're not, even if they're just short in the division, they're a lot of times the first team out with the wild card too. Going back to that, so it's just a matter of the same thing that's always hindered them. Can they win key games late in the year? And that seems to be the thing that, outside of the 2018 season, and again, just years where they were just super dominant, when it comes to them being close, they don't seem to win key games.
I mean, they're going to be terrible. Like, what week do you think they're going to screw it up this
year? Week 15, they'll have some dud against a team they're tied with in the wild
card. They're a borderline
maybe
playoff
Arizona
team.
or something.
They're
like
a borderline playoff team this year. That's where I think they are.
But I'm saying in those situations, they're usually the first team out. The Cowboys will always have some dud against a team they're fighting with in the wild card.
But you also know that there's going to be an extra team coming out of the NFC that's going to make the playoffs. So that gives an NFC team, possibly a 9-7 team, a chance to make the playoffs, even though the NFC is so good. In the AFC, I could see a 7-9 or an 8-8 team making the playoffs.
That was my biggest problem with the playoff expansion. You're going to see a lot of that.
I think you're going to see that this year, and I think I wouldn't be so surprised if an 8-8 or a 7-9 team go far in the playoffs, because we've seen crazier things in the NFL, and we can see crazier things now. A defense gets hot, a quarterback or a running back gets hot, like you saw with Tennessee last year, and you don't know what's going to happen. So I think it's going to be a fun season to watch if we do have an NFL season, and how many people. And I never asked Cynthia this, because I'm sure she doesn't know yet. But what are these owners and what are these teams going to do? Are they going to allow 20,000 or 25,000 of the 55, 60,000 that could fit in the stadium in to watch the game, or not have fans at all? I think it will ruin the excitement of the game if there's no fans out in the crowd. But you really can't have 65 or 70,000 fans in the audience with this COVID-19 going on, which you don't have a serum, you don't have anything to stop it. So I do believe that the NFL is going to have to figure out something where I've been hearing that the Miami Dolphins are already planning to only have 20 to 15,000 people every single home game to come and watch the games live.
Which they could get anyway because it's Miami, but okay.
I mean,
Corporate.
do you guys find it interesting that the Cowboys now have two quarterbacks that face off against each other in the 2010 Fiesta Bowl? How much trouble do you think the Cowboys will be in that a guy that threw for 211 yards in the Fiesta Bowl will be now coaching a guy that threw for 3 interceptions in the same game?
That TCU team was really good. I think they were number 4 in the whole nation or something like that.
I mean, it was easily one of the worst bowl games I've
Well,
ever
Snug is he's really taking shots at the Cowboys. He says, "Please God, let the Cowboys have the perfect season in reverse." That's what he says.
No, Snug. The Cowboys have to be 8-8. That's what they always are.
Beeve has a secret, inappropriate urges for a dashing ginger quarterback.
They had a great offseason, the Cowboys, right? They went and got on Terry Poe and CeeDee Lamb's terrific, and they loaded, right? But we all know what's going to derail this team, right? It's going to be cocaine and hookers in the locker room with Alden Smith, and then that's what everyone's going to talk about.
It's crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy. I think it's going to be a fun season. I'm looking forward to it because with all the Jets acquisitions and really rebuilding that offensive line in just one offseason and really seeing if these players are going to develop, not on just the Jets, the Giants, watching the Patriots grow with Stidham as a quarterback.
On the Jets.
I'm sorry?
No one develops on the Jets. The Jets are
here we go.
minor league farm team for every other NFL franchise.
Well, let's see what the Patriots could do without your great Tom Brady, and see how they develop. Some of the young players develop. Because to me, as much as you think Stidham is the guy for the Patriots right now, I do believe that next year they'll be looking for a quarterback in the draft. So
they could be.
No, they're not. Could be. They will. They will be looking for a quarterback in the draft next year.
Listen, I'm not gonna say here's what I believe is going on. I believe that they can win with Jarrett Stidham. They have a ton of salary cap room next year. I think that they're going to go all in and try to win before a quarterback gets paid. Really stack the team and load it up next year and try to win while a quarterback's on his rookie deal. Because listen, they still have the number 1 defense. That really hasn't gotten much worse. They lost Jamie Collins and Kyle Van Noy. Okay. They'll replace those guys. So they're still going to have a good defense. And, very underrated, people don't talk about this, but very underrated, Bill Belichick is unbelievable with new quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo in New England was 2-0. Jacoby Brissett was 1-1. Matt Castle, 11-5. They do great with quarterbacks that aren't Tom Brady.
Yeah, but that's also because a lot of teams weren't planning for those quarterbacks like they've been planning all year for Tom Brady. When Matthew Castle took over for Tom Brady, teams were planning for Tom Brady the whole season. All of a sudden, Matt Castle took over after what happened with him. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was against the Cincinnati Bengals, right? Was it?
I'm trying to remember which circumstances.
I forget when he tore his ACL. That's what circumstances.
Oh, the Chiefs. That was the Chiefs. Bernard Pollard.
It was week 1 against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, so everybody was planning for Tom Brady all season long, and then they got Matthew Castle. And it's hard to plan against a quarterback you really never got a chance to see. So, again, you're absolutely right.
I understand that on some level, but Matt Castle's terrible. Did he even ever win a game past New England? Would he win 3 more games with Minnesota?
He had 1 playoff year with Kansas City, I think, in 2010, and that was it. He fell off really badly after that. I think he went to the Titans. I think they were 7-9 at best with him there, and then I think after that he went to the Vikings, and he was a backup. I don't think he ever played.
I mean, think about that. With quarterbacks not named Tom Brady in the last 20 years, they're what? 16-6? That's pretty good.
Again, you're not planning against those quarterbacks that took over for Tom Brady. So, again, I'm not arguing what these quarterbacks could be or how well Bill Belichick has worked with young quarterbacks. nobody was planning to play those quarterbacks. Now, Stidham, everybody, whatever they got, whatever footage they got of Stidham,
They were all planning to play those quarterbacks. You didn't tell me they didn't know Jimmy Garoppolo was going to play when Tom Brady was suspended for 4 games.
They knew that.
Well, yeah,
they knew that.
The first game they won was against a really good Arizona team too.